What follows is a vision from the AI. Prediction or fiction? You be the judge.
2025. The world is on shaky ground. BRICS is rising, Europe is struggling under multiple crises. And the war in Ukraine continues to redraw the borders of global influence. But one question stands out above all others: who will dominate the world in the next 5 years? In this video, we explore the geopolitical, economic, and technological dynamics at play. We'll examine why analysts are speaking of a historic shift in power, and why, according to artificial intelligence and current global trends, a new superpower seems poised to take the lead by 2030. The rise of the BRICS. The BRICS group, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is no longer what it once was. It has expanded to include new members: Egypt, the United Arab Emirates, Ethiopia, Iran, and others. The term BRICS Plus has taken root. Today, this bloc represents nearly 46% of the world population, around 35% of global GDP, over 50% of the world's solar energy production. This is more than a symbolic alliance. BRICS Plus presents itself as a counter-model to the G7, more representative of the global South, less centered on Western institutions, and firmly oriented toward a multipolar world. Its strength lies in complementarity: Chinese industrial power, Indian demographic weight, African and South American raw materials, and diverse regional alliances. But not everything is perfect. Internal divisions are many: Sino-Indian tensions, disagreements over a common currency, and lack of strategic coordination. For example, at the last summit, Chinese President Xi Jinping did not attend. A clear message: unity is far from guaranteed. Still, BRICS is making progress on major fronts: de-dollarization, cross-investments, development of alternative financial institutions, and South-South economic corridors. In short, BRICS Plus is not yet a superpower, but it is already a superbloc. The return of Trump and a changing America. Donald Trump is back in power. His policies remain consistent: protectionism, isolationism, and aggressive diplomacy. He imposes massive new tariffs, even on allies like Japan and South Korea, and threatens to withdraw from international institutions that he believes disrespect American interests. In this context, the image of the US deteriorates, and its ability to lead a consensual global order crumbles. Domestically, technological innovation suffers from cuts in research funding, stricter immigration controls, and deep ideological polarization. In geopolitics, Trump turns alliances into transactions: security in exchange for money, loyalty in exchange for trade advantages. As a result, many partner countries seek alternatives, turning increasingly to China or India for more stable, less politicized bilateral agreements. Artificial intelligence, once a key driver of American dominance, becomes a battleground. China leads in applied research, India excels in mass engineering. The United States remains a military power, but its moral and economic leadership is more contested than ever before. Europe in disarray. Europe is going through an unprecedented period of turbulence. Economically, persistent inflation, exploding public debt, weak growth, slow reindustrialization, and chronic energy dependency. Politically, rising populism, weakened EU institutions, and strategic divergence between East and West. The war in Ukraine has exposed Europe's dependency on the United States for security. Strategic autonomy remains more a slogan than a reality. And with the rise of BRICS, Europe struggles to exist as a unified actor. It continues to be perceived as a fragmented zone, more preoccupied with internal crises than its global role. According to several economic forecasts, countries like France or Italy could fall out of the global top 10 economies by 2050, replaced by emerging nations like Mexico, Nigeria, or Vietnam. Europe remains wealthy and influential, but is slowly and inevitably declining in global hierarchy. Ukraine. The catalyst: the war in Ukraine has triggered a geopolitical earthquake. It has weakened Europe's energy stability, accelerated NATO militarization, further isolated Russia, but paradoxically, it has also strengthened ties between Russia, China, Iran, and other nations breaking away from Western influence. This conflict has also exposed the limits of European diplomacy and a deep divide between North and South on sanctions against Moscow. Meanwhile, BRICS uses the situation to challenge the current international order, seen as unfair and imbalanced. They present themselves as an alternative, despite internal contradictions. This war acts as a catalyst, accelerating the shift toward a multipolar world. The next superpower by 2030. Looking at current trends, one thing is clear: the future will no longer be dominated by a single power. We are entering a multipolar era. But some poles will be more influential than others. China is the leading contender for global dominance, the world's largest economy by purchasing power parity, a leader in AI, green industry, and advanced tech, expanding diplomacy through the Belt and Road Initiative and soft power, increasing influence over international institutions. India is emerging as a major global player: favorable demographics, fast economic growth, rapid advances in space, AI, and biotech, a pivotal role in both BRICS and the G20. BRICS Plus now offers an alternative global architecture. Divided, yes, but growing in influence. Their main challenge is turning diversity into political strength. The US, still powerful, will need to choose between returning to global cooperation or continuing Trump-era isolationism, which could lead to marginalization. Europe, meanwhile, will remain influential only if it can strengthen its collective defense, invest heavily in innovation, reduce strategic dependencies. In its current state, however, this seems unlikely in the short term. Conclusion: the world of 2030 will look nothing like the post-Cold War unipolar era. The illusion of Western-led global order is fading. What we now see emerging is a fragmented, competitive, tech-driven world where powers clash more than they cooperate. Based on the latest data from economic, geopolitical, demographic, and technological analysis, AA reveals a clear trend: China is in pole position to become the world's leading superpower by 2030. It combines total industrial mastery, from AI to semiconductors, expanding diplomatic influence, via BRICS Plus and the Belt and Road, a large, tech-driven population, a coherent and visionary civilizational project. Close behind, India is rising fast, young, ambitious, increasingly influential. Together, BRICS could form a stable power bloc, if they overcome their internal rivalries. As for the United States, its future depends on whether it can adapt, re-engage globally, or remain isolated. Europe must reinvent itself strategically. Without it, it risks falling out of the circle of global powers. According to AI-driven models, 2030 will be a tripolar world, led by China, India, and a restructured BRICS bloc, while former Western powers scramble to reposition themselves. But history is still being written. What do you think? In your opinion, which nation or bloc will truly dominate by 2030? Let us know in the comments, and let's open the debate.